Hello and welcome to a speedy, quick run-through of Layers of Abstraction. This is a presentation meant as a refresher for docents, not as a presentation for students. After you've talked to the kids about abstract art and given a quick history lesson, you can tell them we are going to do an abstract painting side by side to practice the idea of non-representational art. In a way, these two pieces will be opposites, but they will be cohesive because they contain some of the same elements like circles and lines. First, have the kids practice with warm colored oil pastels, making about 3 circles and 3 or 4 lines on one of our paper halves. Then do the same with the other paper half using cool colors. You can talk about the circle as a symbol. You can talk about resist between oil pastels and paint. Okay, now dip the tip of your about 1/2 inch flat brush in black gesso and somewhat cover half of the paper with the warm colors. Now rinse your brush and do the same thing with white gesso over the cool colors. Note that there is a lot of neutral brown still showing, and I was not tidy about where I put the paint. Now, still using the larger flat brush, make about 3 circles over the black gesso using any or all of the cool colors. Note, this is important, each time dip a little of the brush in white gesso and then in the cool color so that the color isn't too transparent. I like to make the circle, and if I run out of paint, dip it in a different color and finish that way. Make a variety of circle sizes that is more interesting to the eye. Now use that same brush and make 3 to 5 straight lines somewhere around the circles or even through them. Dip again and use your wide brush the skinny way to do some echo lines and make some dots or whatever around your circles. Rinse your brush. Now we are basically going to do the same thing with warm colors. Dip a little of the tip in white and pick a warm color and make 3 circles of varying sizes with warm colors. Now use your brush the skinny way to add some interest and create more lines and dots using the corner of the brush. Now, while you still have warm colors on your brush, go back to the half with the cool colors and add some echo lines around and beside your existing circles and lines. Now add some cool color echo lines to the warm side. While the paint is still wet, flip your brush over and use the back of the handle to carve in a little circle in the wet paint. Now switch to your detail brush, and on the paper that started with black gesso, use some white gesso to highlight and add clusters of dots and a few lines to create interest. Clean your brush and do the same to the other side, but this time with black gesso. Just let your intuition guide you as to where to add the dots and lines. You can talk to the kids about balance in choosing where they go. Now we can add some black and white oil pastel to either side because they had an interesting texture. Now choose an oil pastel in a color that isn't already represented, like lime green. Add touches of lime green to both pieces here and there just to unify them. We aren't scribbling, we are considering and feeling where our painting needs just a little something. Now it's time to glue our pieces to the larger black construction paper. This is a great chance to have the kids try out different positions and see what feels right to them. Obviously, there is no actual right or wrong answer here. You can talk about something feeling like there's more weight, so maybe you put that at the bottom. But ultimately, it's just what feels good. Once they decide which one goes top or side by side, use dots of glue to glue them to the paper. Tell the kids to hold the paper in place for 10 seconds to help it bond. Just put your fingers in the corners. Obviously, we don't want to mess up our paint. Lastly, and this is optional, if you have some pearlescent paint, you can use the detail brush to add just a few, let's say 3 highlighted areas to draw in the eye. You can point out that often with abstract paintings, unlike traditional paintings, there's no focal point, but the eye travels among the different elements on the page. Each viewer brings their own interpretation to what they are seeing. That's it. Hope you had fun.